So the drivers go out onto the circuit for the second X30 Superheat of the weekend. I'm Chris Hartley, alongside me Matt Suckling, and here's the grid for the race.
Yep, so here we go then. Once again, as we know, Rinus van Kamphout will start all of the heats today from pole position. So he's got the inside run down towards the first corner. Alongside him is going to be the Swede, which is Victor Åberg. We'll see how Victor gets on from second on the grid. Back on row 2, we then have the likes of Taylor Greenfield in kart 416. Alongside him, the Italian, who again has been really quick this weekend, showing some good form and will be one to watch out for within this race as well. That's Giacomo Rossi in kart 413. Back on row 3, we then have the Belgian racer, Marnik Batron. Alongside that is going to be 420, Constantine Scholl, who made progress in the earlier heat. Back on row 4, we then see Jeffrey Rouchet and Giuseppe Pierotti. And then to row 5, we've got the likes of the Portuguese racer again, worked his way through the field. So watch out for Bruno Ponte, and Eric Chapon rounds out the 10 karts ready for this super X30 race. Let's see who is going to get the second win of the day. We've got 11 laps to look forward to as the karts work their way through the hairpin at turn number 7. They'll start to slow themselves down right about now at turn number 9. They'll get into formation and they'll be ready to go for 11 laps of racing. Can Rinus do the double, or can the likes of Victor Åberg, Taylor Greenfield and Giacomo Rossi try and fight their way through? But we're looking forward to this one as ever. Let's see what it's going to deliver as they come down towards the last couple of corners. It'll be Thomas Liner to judge if the formation is good enough to get the race underway, which it should be. These are the more experienced racers amongst the karters. So they'll now go into their grid hatchings, get ready to race. They'll go through across the line, head down towards turn number 1, and let's see if Rinus can do the job once more as they get ready to go racing once more. The lights go out and away we go down towards the first corner. A fairly good start from Victor Åberg, who's going to try and sweep round the outside at turn number 1. If he can keep in second place, that will be good enough for now as they all get their way down towards turn number 3. It's Rinus van Kamphout that leads. Victor Åberg is second. Taylor Greenfield has already dropped down to third or fourth place, in fact, because we've got 419, Marnik Batron, who's come through. So a great move there to get himself up into the top 3 places. But already Rinus trying to gap that man, Victor Åberg, in second place. And in fact, the Belgium now trying to get through into second place as well as they exit turn number 8, down towards the next of the hairpins at turn number 9. Taylor Greenfield sits there in fourth place. And then the rest will try and sort themselves out. I'm sure Giacomo Rossi will be there as well as a move looks to be made for the lead of the race. What a job. And look at that. Rinus van Kamphout already has been bumped back. As we saw, if the doors left open, you can drop 2 or 3 places. Is exactly what happened. But very opportunistic there from Victor Åberg. He leads the race on to lap number 2, Chris.
You see, the thing with motorsport, it's never predictable. After the first race, you couldn't see anybody beating Van Kamphout. Now he's third. Now he's second, though. He fights back immediately down the inside of Batron at the start of the second lap of the race. But the race leader is Victor Åberg. For the first time pretty much all weekend, Rinus van Kamphout is having to stare at the back of somebody else's rear bumper. He was third. He is second. Batron third place. Taylor Greenfield fourth position. Jeffrey Rouchet has had a good start up into fifth place. Bruno Ponte, the Portuguese driver, rounding out the top 6 at the end of that lap. Taylor Greenfield, you'd think we want to try and fight his way back through here in the 416 kart. The first race was won by Van Kamphout. Åberg was second in the race earlier on today, and then it was Greenfield who rounded out the top 3. Cars whizzed through the final corner over the start-finish line to start lap number 3. The gap between the top 2 is 0.2 of a second on that lap by a few thousandths. Van Kamphout was quicker than Åberg, so he's reeling him back in a little bit quicker despite the fact that he was having to overtake at the time. Taylor Greenfield has just got himself back up into third place, so ahead of Batron, and he has got a bit of a gap to try and bridge now to get back on terms with the top 2 who are making their way down towards the hairpin at turn 7.
I think it was crucial there for Rinus van Kamphout to get back into second place. Otherwise, Victor Åberg may have pulled away. But for now, the gap is just 0.2 of a second. So it's a great fight between the top 2. There was yellow flags out down at the hairpin at turn 7, I think. So maybe we've lost one of them, but the front runners continue on their way, which is good to see. So through the final couple of S's on the way towards the start-finish line once more. The top 2 working hard. Victor Åberg fairly wide there at the final corner, so it just closes the gap down once more to a quarter of a second. So Rinus van Kamphout now, if he keeps this in good formation, gets some good runs through the corners, he may be a man to attack down first off at the end of the back straight at turn 6. If not there, surely down towards the end of the lap once more. Quickest lap has gone to that man in second place, a 49.6. A great lap there for Rinus van Kamphout. In fact, a 49.4 is done. So very, very quick indeed there for Rinus. He's looking good. Can he make a move, though, on Victor Åberg over the next couple of corners? He gets ever closer down towards the hairpin at turn number 9. Third place is still Taylor Greenfield. Fourth place, near enough from the back as well, Jeffrey Rouchet, and to round out your top 5, it's the Belgium, which is Marnik Batron.
Yeah, Ponte, Scholl and Rossi all were dropping back on the previous lap, so I think that incident at the hairpins involved them. Rossi right at the back of the field, so he's still going, but he's down in 10th place. There you can see on screen at telemundi.com on our live stream service the battle for the lead of the race. Victor Oberg got through a couple of laps ago with a very good move, a well-timed move, great racecraft from the PDB driver, but it's the Dutchman coming after him. Look at that, best lap of the race has gone to Konstantin Scholl as he tries to fight back through the order. He's currently running in 7th position. At the moment, they're not quite lapping as quickly anybody as they did in the first heat. Great smell coming through the commentary box of the 2-stroke fuel mixture, which in my mind is one of the best smells in the world. Absolutely fantastic, almost as good as freshly cut grass, which we've got here in the sunshine in Italy. But Victor Oberg is just keeping a little bit of breathing space here, isn't he? And that lap, when he got back into second place, Van Kalmthout reeled him in, but Victor Oberg is responding well here, and the gap is staying at around 0.2 of a second. So he turns into the right-hander at turn 2. That flows directly into turn number 3. Taylor Greenfield behind them is ever so slightly quicker than the 2 leaders. They're all lapping 49.4s, but Taylor Greenfield, if the top 2 start battling that, might just be able to get on terms with them. Look, he's got the best lap of the race, though, 49.3 for Rossi. And there is Van Kalmthout from nowhere down the inside at turn 7 to get the lead of the race back. He was 0.2 behind as they went out of the previous corner. Then he just left the braking to the last possible millisecond. Great move that to snatch the lead of the race back. Back up front, Oberg down to second.
Yeah, it's very unexpected, but we kind of should expect that from Rinus van Kalmthout, because he's kind of a man who does that quite a lot. With a very clean move, he gets himself back up into the lead of the race. Let's see if Victor Oberg can respond as quickly as possible. He's still tied to the back of that man in the lead of the race then as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. And you're right, Chris, Taylor Greenfield has definitely caught up with the top 2. He's just 0.4 of a second back and the quickest man on the circuit at the minute. So this is a 3-way fight now for the lead of the race. There's a warning flag that's gone out for Taylor Greenfield. So that is a warning flag, just to be wary of a few moves he's possibly making on track. So he will just have to be a little bit cautious of that now as he once again works his way through to the top 2. Can Victor Oberg look for a move? Can he do an outsmarting manoeuvre on Rinus van Kalmthout? It's going to be hard to do there, because we know Rinus is a great racer, and he'll now try and keep this gap as constant as possible. We'll see if he can pull out as he comes through now to complete the next of his laps. 4 to go as they work their way down towards the first corner. Top 3 tied together. Behind them in 4th place is still Jeffrey Rouchet. 5th place then for 419, which is Marnik Batron, and still to make progress. Unexpected to see him down in the order here. Probably a poor start on the outside of row number 3. That is Konstantin Scholl. So he sits in 6th place, and then 7th place the Italian, working his way back through, which is good to see. Giacomo Rossi in 413 is up there into 7th place and has just set the quickest lap of the race. So let's see if he can make any more places. But the top 3 we look at still Kalmthout, 2nd for Oberg, and 3rd for Greenfield.
Yeah, good battle going on for 5th place between the Belgian driver Marnik Batron and right behind him, pushing him hard, Konstantin Scholl. They've swapped around a couple of times. At the moment, Batron is just ahead of Scholl, but Scholl was breathing down his neck down the back straight. Here we go then. 3/4 distance in the race. The top 3 almost within sight of each other. I'm slightly baffled as to why Taylor Greenfield has got a warning, because hasn't he been on his own for most of this race? Certainly for the last 3 or 4 laps he's been on his own. So for car racing, I'd say it's probably something to do with track limits, but it's not something you tend to hear about in kart racing so much. So a bit of an odd one that, but Taylor Greenfield is still up in that battle for the lead of the race. Van Kalmthout starting to just creep away, only slightly though, from Victor Oberg. There they are, 1st, 2nd and 3rd, all in the same shot now as they go into the hairpin at turn 9 and accelerate back out of that one. Jeffrey Rouchet is sort of on his own really in 4th place. He's 2.5 seconds behind these 3, but he's a 2.5 clear of Konstantin Scholl, who's in 5th place. Bruno Ponte is next up, then Rossi. Batron, who's having that battle with Konstantin Scholl, has gone to the back of the field. So he's had a moment, I'm afraid, and his poor race continues. But up front, the gap now grows to 0.3 seconds. It's been a good effort, this, from Victor Oberg and from his teammate Taylor Greenfield. And even if they don't beat Van Kalmthout in this race, Matt, what you can say is that they're much, much closer to him. Yeah,
they can take some positives away from this race, which will set them up nicely for the 3rd and final heat for the Supers. But for now, Rinus van Kalmthout is continuing to just gradually pull away. He's just done another quickest lap of the race there, 49.156, only fractionally quicker So Victor Oberg still stays there in second. Will he go for a final last gasp move on our leader? We'll have to wait and see, because there's only going to be one lap remaining at the end of this one. There is Taylor Greenfield still in third place, who are a long way ahead of both Jeffrey Rouchet and Constantine Scholl, who's now got himself up into fifth place after the demise of Marnik Batran, who came into the pit lane with some problems there with the kart by the sounds of it. So he's now out of the race after that battle got too close for comfort. But the top three on their last lap now, it looks like it's going to be a double for Renus, but let's see what Victor can do in the final few corners.
Yeah, that's right. Well, certainly Van Kalmthout, for the first time this weekend, knows he's got a fight on his hands. Not that he was ever taking anything for granted, nor his dad, nor his mom. They were saying still a long way to go. It's a good start, but they know exactly what it can be like in motorsport, in kart racing. One good day does not mean you're going to walk away a happy driver at the end of the weekend. It's tomorrow, it all counts, but it's going to be, nonetheless, a second win of the day for Renus Van Kalmthout. The checkered flag comes out. Van Kalmthout wins the race. Victor Oberg in second place. Taylor Greenfield in third position. So it's the same top three we had in race one. But in race one, the gap was much bigger. There was 2.5 seconds covering the top three. This time, there's only 0.4 of a second. Very good drive from Jeffrey Rouchet, who had an excellent start to the race. So he comes home in fourth position and not too far away from the pace of the race leaders. Constantine Scholl, a battling performance to get back up to fifth place. Bruno Ponti rounds out the top six at the end of the second X30 Super Heats. That's their second qualifying heat. There's one more to come. The results of all of those heats will be combined to give us the grid for the pre-final tomorrow. So congratulations to Dams Racing and Renus Van Kalmthout, the winner by 0.3 of a second from the PDB Racing duo of Victor Oberg and Taylor Greenfield. Jeffrey Rouchet for OKS in fourth place, Constantine Scholl for Dams Racing in fifth, Bruno Ponte for Redline Motorsport sixth, Rossi came back to seventh, Pierotti in eighth, Chapon ninth, and Batrin down out of the race 3 laps from the end, classified as 10th.